The biggest piece of luck. "I do wish you had more friends, Ronnie," said his mother, looking up from her sewing. "There you sit in your corner, poring over some nature book or other. Why don't you go and play with the other children?" "I'm all right, Mother," said Ronnie, wishing that his mother wouldn't so often talk about playing with others. "I like being by myself." "Well, I don't like it," said his mother. "Don't the others like you? Or don't you like them? You ought to be going out to tea and bringing friends here." Ronnie didn't answer. He just went on reading, hoping that his mother wouldn't bother him any more. But she went on again. "Mrs. Brown was telling me what fun her 2 children have with 3 others. They've got a club of some sort and have regular meetings down in the shed at the bottom of their garden. They have a password and—" "Yes, I know, Mother," said Ronnie. "And John Harris has a club too, with passwords and a meeting place. And there's a secret society at school as well. But nobody asks me to join them, and I'm not going to push myself where I'm not wanted." "Not wanted? But why shouldn't they want you?" said his mother, astonished. "You're not selfish, or mean, or rough, or—" "It's just because I'm quiet, and I like things they don't," said Ronnie desperately. "I like watching birds, and you have to be quiet for that. I like going down to the pond and watching the water voles plop in and out, and the moorhens bob down under the water and come up again. The others only like noisy, shouting games, and I don't like too much of that." "Please don't say any more." "Well, I'm going to," said his mother. "I don't like seeing a decent boy like you left out of everything. Do you know what I think, Ronnie? I think you need to be noisy and play exciting games. You need to be one of a club and help in it. And the others need to be quiet sometimes and learn to watch things as you do and love them. I should have thought that any little club would be glad of you." "Oh, Mother, you don't understand," said poor Ronnie. "You may be right, but how can I push myself in when I'm not really wanted? I tell you, they don't want quiet boys like me. They want adventurous sort of people, you know, brave and plucky and daring and all that. And I'm not." "Well, I shan't say any more," said his mother impatiently, "but I do long to have you ask a little crowd of friends here, so that I can give them a fine tea and hear you playing in the garden afterwards. You're an only child, and I want you to have friends." After that, Ronnie's mother said no more, and Ronnie heaved a sigh of relief. He wanted to be in a club, really. He badly longed for real friends. He wanted someone to share his love of birds and animals, but he simply couldn't push himself anywhere that he wasn't wanted. It was no good. He couldn't. The next afternoon was a half-holiday. Ronnie listened to the others arranging what they were going to do. "Meet in our shed, 2:30 sharp. Club members," said George. "And Harry, if you forget the password again, you won't be admitted." "Secret Six Society, meet at our tree house at 2:45, he heard Jane say. "Bring biscuits if you can, and something to drink. Wear your badges, of course." It really seemed as if everyone was arranging something to do, except Ronnie. He went off alone, as he usually did, and began to plan what he would do. "I'll go and watch the swans and the moorhens on the lake," he thought, "and I might take a jar with me and see if I can bring something interesting home for my aquarium. I'll watch the swallows skimming the water for flies, too. They'll soon be flying away to warmer countries, and it may be the last time I can watch them." "Going off alone, as usual," said his mother, after Ronnie had had his lunch. "It's a shame, Ronnie." "Oh, I like it," said Ronnie. And off he went, with a little jar on a string. The lake was a good way away, and he enjoyed the walk. He got there at last, and sat down quietly under a tree. Now, where were those moorhens? None to be seen. They'll be swimming under the water, I expect, said Ronnie. Their heads will pop up in a minute, and then their bodies. He was right. Suddenly, 4 or 5 little black heads popped up above the surface of the water, and then a whole family of moorhens appeared, calling "crick, crick" to one another, and swimming off fast, their heads bobbing like clockwork. I wish I had someone to watch with me, thought Ronnie. Oh, there's a water bowl. Look, he's dived into the water. It was while he was sitting quite still, and not making even a small movement, that Ronnie heard a noise some way off. At first he took no notice. Then, as it came again and again, he sat up straight and listened. What could it be? It sounded like a faint shouting. He went on, and then stopped. Then it began again. Ronnie felt uneasy. It can't be someone in trouble, surely, he thought. Oh, it stopped again. Perhaps it was just children playing somewhere. But soon the far-off shouting began again, and Ronnie stood up. Blow! What was it? He didn't want to leave this peaceful, interesting corner by the lake, but he knew quite well that if someone wanted help, he must go and find out what he could do about it. He stood and listened, and then went off in the direction of the sound. Soon he saw a house hidden in some trees. It was the only house for some distance, and it seemed as if the shouts were coming from there. He read the name on the gate. Red Chimneys. Why, surely that's where George lives, he thought.
Help!
Yes, it is.
Help!
My word, what yells! Whatever's the matter? He soon found out. He went right round the house and came to the back. From a window high up near the roof, he heard the yells.
Help!
And then someone leant out of the window. It was George. Hey! Good gracious, is it really you, Ronnie? Want a bit of luck? What's the matter? Shouted back Ronnie, astonished. Why are you shouting? 3 more heads poked out of the window beside George's. Ronnie saw Tom, Katie and Pat, all members of the 4-leaved Clover Club. George shouted again. Ronnie, our club met this afternoon, but we couldn't meet in the shed as usual, so we thought we'd meet up here in the attic. But the door's got jammed and we can't get out. Can you come up and help? But where's your mother? Asked Ronnie. She's out. There's nobody here but us this afternoon, Ronnie. Oh, come in at the back door, for goodness sake, and help us. We've been here ages. Ronnie waved his hand and ran to the back door. He opened it and went inside and found his way to the stairs. Up he went to the first floor, and then up again to the attic. There were 2 rooms there, one with its door open, the other with its door shut. Behind the door, he could hear the voices of the 4-leaved Clover Club members. He banged on the door. I'm here. Shall I shove at the door? Yes, shove hard, and we'll pull, said George from inside. So Ronnie shoved, and George pulled. But all that happened was that the handle of the door came off in George's hand, and he fell over with a terrific bump. Hey! Wait a minute. There's a key here, called Ronnie. Maybe when you went in and banged the door it half locked, like keys do sometimes. Wait, I'll see. Yes, I believe it has. There, I've turned it. The door came open at once, and all the club members rushed out, glad to be free. George gave Ronnie a clap on the back. Oh, thanks. 100,000 thanks. My mother doesn't come back till 6. We'd have been prisoners for hours. Come on, let's go downstairs. Good old Ronnie, said Tom. Whatever are you doing in this direction? How did you manage to hear our shouts? Ronnie told him. I just came to watch the swans and moorhens on the lake, and to get something for my aquarium, he said. And I heard shouts. "I say, Ronnie, you know an awful lot about nature, don't you?" said Katie. "Our club used to go for nature walks and keep a bird table and things like that when Fran was a member. But she's gone away now, and the club's not nearly so interesting." "It's no good asking you to join us, is it, Ronnie?" said George suddenly. "Do you know enough nature to teach us about birds and to help us make an aquarium? I've got a fine glass tank, but we simply don't know how to arrange it for an aquarium." "Ronnie doesn't belong to any clubs, do you, Ronnie?" said Pat. "You just keep yourself to yourself, don't you? I bet clubs bore you." "Well," said Ronnie, and stopped. "You see, Look, we badly need a member who knows about nature," said George, taking Ronnie's arm. "Can't you do us a favour and belong to a club just for once? It's fun to share things, Ronnie, and have a secret password and a badge and a meeting place and nice little feasts, and make things and learn things. Honestly, it is. Well, do belong." "Well," began Ronnie again, quite overcome by all this. "Well, I'd love to. Nobody ever asked me before. I thought I was too quiet to belong to a club. I thought nobody wanted me. Gosh, yes, I'd love to show you how to make an aquarium. And you could come with me and collect things from the pond for it." "And can you make a wormery?" asked Pat. "I want one of those, and—" "We'll make you a member straight away," said George, seeing how pleased Ronnie looked. "My word, this is a scoop for us. Getting old Ronnie for our club. I know the Secret Six thought of asking you when Kenneth left them, but they thought you turned up your nose at clubs, so they asked Doris instead. And now we've got you." Ronnie was red with excitement. Why, he hadn't guessed that anyone had even thought of wanting him. What would his mother say? He would ask the whole club to his home for tea on Saturday. He would join in their fun and games, and they would share his interest in birds and animals and all the rest. His mother was right, after all. "Let's go back to the attic," said Tom. "We'll make Ronnie a member at once before he changes his mind. You have to promise 2 or 3 things very solemnly, Ronnie. I hope you won't mind." Ronnie was ready to promise anything. He looked at the little 4-leaved clover badges that the others wore, buttons covered with white material on which a 4-leaved clover was worked in green. He was sure his mother could make him one that very night. How many, many times had he envied George and the others when he had seen that badge on their chests. They all went back to the attic. They took the key from the outside of the door and put it into the keyhole on the inside so that the lock couldn't slip again. Then they shut the door and sat down in a ring. I must not tell you what happened then, because it is always a special and secret meeting when the 4-leaved Clover Club elect a new member, and he makes his promises and learns the password. But I can tell you that Ronnie is a great success in the club, and that his mother has made him a very fine badge indeed, most beautifully embroidered with a 4-leaved clover. And once a fortnight, Ronnie asks all the other members to tea, and they meet in an old cellar under his house and make a most terrific noise. Then his mother smiles a secret smile. Yes, she was right after all, as mothers so often are. Ronnie had learnt to laugh and shout and share with the others, and they too were sharing in all the things that Ronnie knew and loved. That lovely aquarium made out of George's old tank, the wormery he had shown Pat how to make, and the injured hedgehog Katie had found and that Ronnie had tamed and made into the club's mascot. What fun they had all had with one another. We called our club the 4-leaved Clover Club because we thought it might be a lucky club with that name, said George to Ronnie. But our biggest piece of luck was when my attic door got stuck and you came along to rescue us, Ronnie, and made you belong to the club. It was my biggest piece of luck too, said Ronnie. And he was right. It was